GreenBiz TV টেকসই উন্নয়নে সবার পাশে সব সময়।
GreenBiz TV talks about sustainable development.
GreenBiz TV টেকসই উন্নয়নে সবার পাশে সব সময়।
Did you know that the UN Sustainable Development Goals are a universal call to action that unites 193 countries around the world? If these global goals are fulfilled by 2030, life on Earth will be better for everyone. So, what are these goals? Eliminate poverty in all its forms. No hunger. Everyone should have safe, nutritious, and sufficient food. Everyone has equal access to healthcare, thus ensuring our well-being and a healthy life. Equal access to a quality education. Ensure gender equality where women and girls have the same opportunities as men and boys. By achieving these goals, each member of our society will be equal, safe, and happy. UN global goals also include access to safe drinking water and sanitation, access to clean energy that is safe for people and the environment, sustainable and stable economic growth. Everyone has a decent job, strong infrastructure, and the support of innovations. Lower inequality within and among countries. Cities and settlements be developed without damaging the environment and people. Achieving these goals will result in the well-being of people and our planet. We can further take care of our environment with the following goals: sustainable and safe production and consumption of products. Take urgent measures to reduce climate change and its impact. Ensure the sustainable use and protection of ocean and sea resources. Restore and protect Earth's ecosystems. By achieving these goals, we will form a society where strong institutions ensure peace and justice. It is important for everyone to be involved and to build partnerships for achieving sustainable development goals. You are part of this process. Demand the implementation of these goals. Take the lead and share information with your friends.
GreenBiz TV talks about sustainable development.
End poverty in all its forms everywhere. Listen to this. It seems unthinkable, but it's true. Today, in 2018, more than 700 million people still live in extreme poverty. In other words, with less than $1.90 per day. In order to be able to end this in 20 years' time, $175 million per year would be needed. But you know what? It's less than 1% of the total income of the richest countries in the world. Let's act now. But how? By intervening in our own circles and widening them. There's someone who has already achieved it. Father Ankal opened the San Antone Church 24 hours, 365 days per year, so that people can have coffee, change their baby, sleep, receive medical attention and legal advice. Thanks to him, there is a place that grants dignity and human warmth. Besides that, he opened a food bank through his NGO Messengers of Peace, as well as a chain of 3 restaurants so far, open to people in poverty or social exclusion, the Robin Hood. You also have in your hands more power than you imagine. For example, 1. In your daily consumption, prioritize fair trade products, whose profits ensure its producers decent life conditions. 2. Once a week, participate in social charity canteens or converse with the homeless. 3. Donate clothes, toys, products for baby care, books, household appliances, or any product in a good state that can help people that may need it. 4. Collaborate and boost microcredit programs and professional training so that people can exit the poverty cycle in a sustainable and long-lasting way. 5. Spread content in social networks as well as clicking like. Tell us about your contributions to the ads using our hashtag. Every day, there is a new opportunity to reduce poverty until eliminating it. Choose yours. Choose all of them.
GreenBiz TV টেকসই উন্নয়নে সবার পাশে সব সময়।
End hunger, achieve food security and improved nutrition, and promote sustainable agriculture. Did you know hunger and malnutrition prevent people from improving their life means? It's like a spiral that goes round and round with no end. Moreover, climate change reduces the resources that we depend on to feed ourselves. Today, more than 800 million people suffer from hunger in the world. To end this by 2030, we must start today. An inspiring and real example, John Van Hengel. This retired citizen from Phoenix met a mother of 9 that managed to supply themselves with the food left over from supermarkets, and he organized a food collection through some of them, founding the first food bank in the 1960s with some volunteers and an empty space. They are now crucial across the whole planet. Your skills aren't different to John's. Where can we start? 1. Adopt a healthy and balanced diet. Keeping healthy does not consist of eating a lot, but doing it correctly. 2. Buy fruits and vegetables that aren't inadequate due to their imperfect state. 3. Plan very well your shopping before your products expire, or when ordering food in restaurants. 4. Organize and collaborate in food collections and give donations to schools and education projects that offer students full daily meals. 5. Promote in your cafeteria the wonderful initiative of pending coffee. You pay for yours and 1 extra, just in case someone needs it. In countries like Italy, many people with no resources enjoy a warm coffee. Ending with hunger starts with you and continues with your loved ones. Shall we start?
GreenBiz TV talks about sustainable development.
GreenBiz TV টেকসই উন্নয়নে সবার পাশে সব সময়।
Ensure healthy lives and promote well-being for all at all ages. A healthier lifestyle. It seems easy, right? We wish. Nowadays, more than 6 million children die before reaching 5 years old, and only half of the women in developing countries have access to the sanitary assistance they need. It's alarming. In order to make progress, it's necessary to achieve universal sanitary coverage, make the medicines and the essential vaccines affordable, ensure that women have full access to sexual health and reproductive services, and most importantly, put an end to infant mortality. Alejandro Escario is an example of that. He started designing a prototype of an incubator in Madrid that ended up being awarded by MIT. His invention is destined to substitute towels and bottles of warm water that wrap up premature babies in Africa, cutting down the cost from 6,000 euros of a conventional incubator to 300. It's easy to make, and its aim is to produce it in the destination countries. But did you know that big actions start with little acts? 1. A first and important step is to make yourself a blood, organ, and bone marrow donor. Did you know that 450 milliliters of blood can save 3 lives? And that every 3 seconds there is a person that needs it? Leukemia, on the other hand, can be treated with bone marrow, which is just a peripheral blood extraction or stem cells. It's simple and it's vital. 2. Vaccinate yourself. Vaccinate your children. Help social entities that raise funds for vaccines. Help them. 3. Keep a balance on the consumption of products like alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs, or erase them completely from your life. It's a way of contributing to create a healthier society. 4. Change your own exercise habits. The human body is conceived to be able to move, not to be seated. An active lifestyle includes 100 minutes of walking every day. 5. Carry out and promote in your job, community, or school a first aid course. Knowing how to act in case of emergency marks the difference and can save lives. We can all start promoting and protecting our own health and our environment's health. The moment is now.
GreenBiz TV talks about sustainable development.
গ্রিনবিজ টিভি টেকসই উন্নয়নে সবার পাশে সব সময়।
Achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls. If we stop and think, equality is the right to be different. And even though it seems like a fight, in reality, gender equality is nothing but the basis to achieve a productive, sustainable, and peaceful world. However, even though it's a fundamental right, there isn't a real equality of rights. Women are still suffering discrimination in political, economic, and public representation, and are still victims of violence and abuse. Nice Nailante is a warrior and a winner in the fight against feminine genital mutilation. She's from Kenya, from the Maasai ethnicity. In her personal ablation ceremony, she escaped, challenging her family and changing the conscience of her community. Now, 25 years old, she is responsible for projects for AMREF. She's a community leader. and she has earned the respect of women, men, and leaders. What about you? Do you know everything you are capable of doing? 1. If it's in your hand, promote and boost a bigger consolation with measures such as teleworking, flexible timetables, and the reduction of working hours for both parents, regardless of their gender. 2. Encourage dialogue and debate equality to overcome stereotypes and culture and gender inequality barriers. 3. Promote a fair salary retribution system without discrimination based on productivity, competence, and merits, and not gender. 4. Discover the opportunities on-site and online volunteering has against gender violence. You can help by having a warm conversation or, in a creative way, designing logos or writing texts from home. 5. Get close to social entities that work with women victims of gender violence. Help them in their duty. It's easier than you think. Now, more than ever, things can be changed. Let's be socially equal and freely different.
GreenBiz TV talks about sustainable development.
গ্রিনবিজ টিভি টেকসই উন্নয়নে সবার পাশে সব সময়।
Ensuring availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all. Open the tap and observe it for 3 seconds. Do you feel it? Its inexhaustible source can make us think it abounds, but it isn't true. Nowadays, more than a third of the world's population suffers water scarcity. And if we add climate change, droughts and floods are what really abound on our planet. There are people that are constantly thirsty, that don't have access to clean water. Don't you think that now we should all be able to drink decent water? Is there anything more basic than that? We can do it. Cynthia Koenig is a reference that facilitated and improved the life of many people, since 1 out of 6 transport 20 liters a day in a distance of 8 kilometers every day. Cynthia made use of her talent to design a system that helps them push water instead of loading it, which saves health and time. Her invention has achieved a wide popularity in Southeast Asia to Central America, stopping inequality that regulated women from occupying this task. You can also contribute from home in a million ways. 1. Never throw away oil in the sewage. 1 liter contaminates 1,000 liters of water. Take it to the recycling posts and organize a common collection with your neighbors and work colleagues. 2. Save water at home. Put on the dishwasher only when it's full. Close the tap when you soap up in the shower, and count 30 seconds so that water warms before getting in. You'll reduce consumption by half, and you'll improve your blood circulation without realizing. 3. At home, install flow reductions and tanks with double flow in your toilets. 4. Inform yourself of the volunteering activities to purify water in rural areas, or promote a project to finance water wells. 5. Encourage awareness initiatives in your family, community, work, and school. Share your achievements and good practices, and contribute to creating change in necessary habits. Where there is water, there is life. Is there anything more basic than this? Let's go for it.
গ্রিনবিজ টিভি টেকসই উন্নয়নে সবার পাশে সব সময়।
GreenBiz TV talks about sustainable development.
Ensure access to affordable, reliable, sustainable, and modern energy for all. Did you know that until 1850, cooking was done by scrubbing 2 stones together? It's not that long ago. Nowadays, we can't imagine our daily lives without electricity. But more than 1.2 billion people live without it, most of them in Africa and Asia. Without electricity, clinics can't work, students can't study, and entrepreneurs can't direct their competitive companies. We can all contribute at our own scale, saving electricity and aiming for energetic, renewable resources, adopting technologies, infrastructures, and non-polluting transports. We should all learn from Sam Goldman and Ned Tozen. They are 32 years old, they're from San Francisco, and their project has helped more than 30 million people in 60 countries. Their solar lamps give 12 hours of light without using polluting and dangerous kerosene, and they save up money as well as reduce the risk of fires. It's accessible, clean, mobile energy for homes. Are you aware of all the possibilities you have of contributing by saving energy? 1. Connect devices to power strips to disconnect all their activity. Cover the pots when cooking and you'll reduce up to 75% of energy. Read the instructions of household appliances to maximize their performance and energetic efficiency. 2. Conduct an energy counseling at home. A little investment will allow you some savings in your bills and mostly a reduction of your consumption. 3. Save energy also in transport. Public transport saves 4 times more energy than the car, and the savings you can achieve by walking or going by bike are 100%. 4. In winter, try to have an efficient heating system at home. Remove furniture and objects that block radiators, revise the boiler, and remember that every extra degree means a 7% increase of consumption. 5. Inform yourself of renewable energy uses, share your knowledge and support sustainable energy projects for schools and houses. Use your energy. Use your power.
GreenBiz TV টেকসই উন্নয়নে সবার পাশে সব সময়।
GreenBiz TV talks about sustainable development.
Promote sustained, inclusive, and sustainable economic growth, full and productive employment, and decent work for all. Choose a job that you like and you won't have to work ever again. Despite the improvement of the work conditions, 800 million people, more than the whole of Europe, still receive $2 a day in salary. That isn't a job, that is injustice. The sustainable and inclusive economic growth that benefits everybody and doesn't damage the environment can only be achieved by creating decent employment and investing in technology. And most importantly of all, end forced child labor. It's in our hands. Do you want to know how to use it? Muhammad Yunus wanted to change things, and he did. It was him that invented and developed the microcredits in Bangladesh, lending money that many entrepreneurs needed but that didn't have the capacity to initiate a business. Their project was a key way of breaking the vicious circle of poverty and the exit of extreme poverty. He has inspired similar efforts in approximately 100 developing countries. He received the Nobel Peace Prize in 2006. Do you know where to start to get that far? 1. Each opportunity that comes up, hire with responsibility and support companies that respect decent and sustainable practices which don't harm the environment. 2. Promote Take Your Child to Work Day, so that the youngest of the family learn what a healthy work environment is. 3. Do you think that the young are heard enough in the work environment? Give them the voice. You can learn from their energy, their tendencies, and their capacity to innovate. 4. If you are looking for a job, volunteering can also be a strategy. Improving the life of others, developing competences to develop professionally, widen your frontiers and your capacities. 5. Support and promote the use of microcredits with trustworthy institutions and empower the young, the long-term unemployed, and women so that they can turn into entrepreneurs. Let's encourage it. Let's promote it. More decent jobs, more future. Build resilient infrastructures, promote inclusive and sustainable industrialization, and foster innovation. It sometimes seems strange that we share our planet with people that live in such different ways. In many developing countries and in rural areas of developing countries, millions of people don't have resources to agricultural production or telephonic services or roads. Can you imagine living like this? Everybody should have access to sustainable and quality infrastructures and work in a sustainable industry with clean processes. This would improve productivity and incomes, the access to basic services, and would help protect our ecosystems. Everything is linked. We have to act now. David Ward acted in a very inspiring way after being diagnosed with blood contaminated by exposure to construction materials. He decided to change them for less harmful ones to improve his health and to help the rest of the workers. He investigated how to use straw, a waste product that comes from the harvest of cereals. This way, a cheap system, easy to use and respectful to the environment. You can also start now, much better than tomorrow. 1. Take part in educational campaigns with pedestrians, or offer yourself to accompany students that go to school and respect the norms of road safety. Something as simple as that will ensure your security and will pollute less. 2. Donate your old mobile phones and computers. You can help many people improve their tools and you'll elongate the life of your devices. 3. When constructing or refurnishing your house, boost long-term and respectful solutions for the environment. 4. Do you like new technologies? Help the ones that give their first steps with a technological volunteering. You can collaborate online, give talks, and invigorate virtual groups. There are a lot of options. 5. Finance projects that provide infrastructures for basic needs. Did you know there are crowdfunding projects that boost creativity, technology, and innovation? The moment is now.
GreenBiz TV টেকসই উন্নয়নে সবার পাশে সব সময়।
GreenBiz TV talks about sustainable development.
Reducing inequality within and among countries. How many types of inequality are you aware of? Did you ever stop to think about it? Income inequalities show how alarming it is that the richest 10% of the population possesses almost half of the world's total income. Moreover, there are inequalities based on gender, age, sexual orientation, class, ethnic origin, and religion. Why should we stop this? Because inequalities weaken growth, encourage poverty, and reduce the feeling of fulfillment and self-esteem of people. Inequality also encourages delinquency, illnesses, and the environment's deterioration. They are all prejudices. Let's get rid of them. Rosa Parks decided to change things in the 50s, and nowadays we still remember her. She was a key figure in the movement for civil rights in the USA when refusing to give up her seat to a white man and moving to the back part of the bus that was separated for black people. She was a regular person and at the same time fundamental to the movement, the same way we can all get to be. You aren't different from her. You are people with the same capacities. 1. Assess resources to humanitarian help, to fight inequalities that generate natural disasters and wars. Medicines, such as ibuprofen, can make an enormous difference. 2. Promote the elimination of salary gaps in your environment. They are one of the biggest signs of inequality in developed countries. 3. Give strong support to multicultural education through trips, history of the world, and activities with people from other neighborhoods. Something as simple as having a conversation can be an inclusive act. 4. Sponsor homeschooled children. You'll be able to follow their evolution and you'll be changing their future. 5. Protest inequalities when you detect them, mostly if you are being favored against a more vulnerable person. Your role is the most important one. Let's achieve today a more equal society to enjoy it tomorrow.
GreenBiz TV টেকসই উন্নয়নে সবার পাশে সব সময়।
GreenBiz TV talks about sustainable development.
Make cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. If you think of some amazing cities in the world, how many come to your mind? Plenty, right? Nowadays, more than half of the population live in urban areas. The expansion of cities not only has allowed quick progress, but has also brought problems such as the bad management of natural resources, pollution, lack of basic services, and the increase of marginalized areas. The forecast is that by 2050, the equivalent of 3 planets will be necessary to maintain our style of life. That's why we should convert ours. We can and should all commit to the cause. You can get inspired by Jerome Guillen, a Californian engineer-entrepreneur that developed a new business line for his company with a brutal impact in the sustainability of urban transport. He created what is now the biggest company of car sharing, that with other companies of the sector are radically changing the way of circulating in cities, reducing pollution and improving mobility. There are already 775 less tons of CO2 that are being saved. With you, it seems like it has just started. 1. You still don't know the activities your neighborhood offers? Your neighborhood can improve hugely if all of you clean and take care of it. But you can also get to the less favored areas instead of just beautifying your own. 2. Try to promote shared cars instead of buying one, or even bikes. In some cities, these initiatives have reduced the cars that transit the city by 2,000. 3. Help beautify public spaces. From something as simple as not throwing trash on the ground to starting an urban garden. 4. At work, minimize the number of on-site meetings out of the office. Encourage teleworking and flexible timetables to avoid congestion and pollution. 5. Encourage inclusive activities with senior citizens, disabled, or those in vulnerable situations with their family and work colleagues. And achieve more accessible infrastructures for your community. How far do you want to go? You choose the finish line.
GreenBiz TV টেকসই উন্নয়নে সবার পাশে সব সময়।
GreenBiz TV talks about sustainable development.
We all desire the most pleasant life for us and for our loved ones. But it seems like the only way to enjoy our well-being is the excessive consumption of natural resources. And the estimate for 2050 is that we will need 3 planets to maintain this model. What if there were another real option? There is, and it substantiates sustainable development. There are many aspects of consumption that, with simple changes, can have a great impact in our society, such as reducing up to 1/3 of the world's foods that end up in the trash, or saving CO2 emissions and saving $12 billion a year by using high-performance light bulbs. We should all learn from Richard Adams. He created the movement of fair trade while he was setting up a business of fruit and vegetable imports in India. The aim that farmers could sell their products without being ripped off by intermediate agents. When the oil price went up and transporting foods was almost impossible, Adams went to work with wood and yucca, since they were much better alternatives because they were produced by women who needed double the amount of help. In 2006, The Independent qualified him as one of the 5 people that most actively had participated in making the world a better place. Little changes are the aim for a deep transformation. 1. Consume local and seasonal products. They're fresher and much more respectful to the environment. They hardly need transport. As well, you will be supporting local businesses. 2. Buy and sell second-hand products. If you visit those shops, you'll realize that new things aren't necessarily better. 3. Participate with your children in workshops about good practices and circular economy, eco-projects, eco-services, and eco-design. You'll enjoy and learn together. 4. Make your home more sustainable with low-consumption bulbs or LEDs. You'll reduce your consumption by 50 to 80%. 5. Support the work of food banks in their logistics and diffusion, promoting to small shops to donate their surplus products. For a future where we can all build together and no one can destroy our resources.
GreenBiz TV টেকসই উন্নয়নে সবার পাশে সব সময়।
GreenBiz TV talks about sustainable development.
Take urgent action to combat climate change and its impacts. We are so used to hearing people speak about climate change that we sometimes forget that it affects all countries and all people. It is a phenomenon of human activity that threatens our future and continues increasing. Currently, the emission of gas due to the greenhouse effect are 50% superior than in 1990. We have to combat it. Through innovation and investment in energetic efficiency and development with low carbon emissions, we could carry out a more sustainable and respectful economic activity. If we don't act now, many of the advances achieved in the last years regarding development will be lost. Leo Burnett and the WWF are organizations of very different activities, but they joined forces to improve things. The publicity agency and the NGO promoted the Hour of the Planet, volunteer power cuts on the last Saturday of March of every year to create awareness in society about the need to adopt measures against climate change. A complete hour where in 2007 almost 10% of energy was saved in Sydney, with 2.2 million people taking part in the event. In 2018, 188 countries participated, switching off 17,900 monuments, buildings, and homes. Nowadays, through social media, any of us can invent and organize an initiative like this one. Are you aware of the millions of ways you can contribute every day? 1. Always follow the rule of the 3 R's. Reduce, reuse, recycle. Fix a device instead of throwing it away to reduce its consumption. Always use reusable packaging and take advantage of the recycling containers. 2. Avoid printing paper. Do you need to remember something you saw online? Write it down on a note, or even better, in a digital note, and save up to 100% of paper. 3. Compensate your carbon emissions. You can now calculate your carbon marks and buy climate credit with free online initiatives. 4. Make your family, neighbors, school, or company plant trees every year, an initiative that unites and helps enormously. 5. Participate in awareness activities and fundraising for the environment, like charity runs or creative workshops with recycled materials. It's our planet, it's our home.
GreenBiz TV টেকসই উন্নয়নে সবার পাশে সব সময়।
GreenBiz TV talks about sustainable development.
Conserve and sustainably use the oceans, seas, and marine resources for sustainable development. The sea isn't just that paradise where we can get lost and rest. Oceans and seas regulate climate, produce oxygen, and give us food. Moreover, they generate employment for more than 200 million people. They are fundamental to counteract climate change, absorbing 30% of the CO2 we produce. However, pollution and destruction of its habitat damage submarine life and our own. And the increase of climate disasters is directly related. We have to stop it. Afroz Shah started one day and hasn't stopped until he created a revolution. This young lawyer of Mumbai acquired a house on a beach that he found filled with waste. He wanted to act decisively, and he encouraged his 84-year-old neighbor to clean and shared his work in social media. A multitude of volunteers, from students to Bollywood stars, united for the cause. Until now, more than 4,000 tons of waste have been taken from the 2.5 kilometers of beach. What started as a small action had saved a part of the ecosystem. In 2016, Shah was named Champion of the Earth, Inspiration and Action. Do you want to start your own little revolution? 1. Reduce as much as possible the use of toxic substances, plastics, and non-biodegradable materials at home and at work. Eliminate the use of plastic bags by using fabric bags. 2. Never buy forbidden products such as coral jewelry, shells, or products derived from sharks. 3. On the beach, pick up your waste. Educate your children and organize cleaning excursions. 4. Shop for safe and sustainable fish products. Avoid species in danger of extinction, such as red tuna, or those captured with methods such as drag fishing. 5. Practice aquatic sports such as scuba diving, kayaking, submarine fishing, or surfing in a responsible way. And always take care of the environment. The ocean wouldn't be the ocean without all the drops that create it. Let's unite our forces.
GreenBiz TV টেকসই উন্নয়নে সবার পাশে সব সময়।
GreenBiz TV talks about sustainable development.
Protect, restore, and promote sustainable use of terrestrial ecosystems, sustainably manage forests, combat desertification, halt and reverse land degradation, and half biodiversity loss. Forests and mountains are the main source of food. They provide air and clean water and constitute the habitat of millions of animal and vegetable species. They are indispensable. As well, around 1.6 billion people depend on forests for their subsistence, but they are threatened by our activity. Each year, 13 million forest hectares disappear, and 22% of species known as animals are at risk of extinction. Can you imagine having to describe to your children and grandchildren what the forests were like? That should never have to happen. Something very valuable is at risk. We should boost the use of sustainable terrestrial ecosystems, mainly through the fight against deforestation and soil degradation. It's our responsibility to repair the caused harm. The inhabitants of the Madhya Pradesh state of India have beat the world record of tree planting, 66 million in 12 hours, not more or less. From students to governors, everybody was involved in the reforestation of a very harmed area, as well as entering the World Guinness Record Book. In the Paris Agreement, India committed to recover 95 million hectares of forests before 2030. Its government has invested more than 6 billion in achieving that aim, but it must be fast. India is one of the most polluted countries in the world. Did you know that you can help to save our forests? 1. Try to make your bank transactions online instead of using printed receipts. Avoid paper cups. Print double-sided. Less consumption of paper means less harm for the forests. 2. Use alternative materials to wood, such as Duralmond, made with nutshells, hemp, or straw. 3. Convert into a principal the FSC certificate. Let's keep on encouraging the responsible management of our forests. 4. When finished reading this, plant a virtual tree. Social networks and web foundations distribute a lot of campaigns of the sort. 5. Take care of the forests through environmental volunteering, a great educational and healthy activity for a world with plenty of trees and the possibility of breathing calmly.
GreenBiz TV টেকসই উন্নয়নে সবার পাশে সব সময়।
GreenBiz TV talks about sustainable development.
Promote peaceful and inclusive societies for sustainable development. Sometimes, talking about peace isn't enough. We also have to work to achieve it. Some regions of the world have stable levels of peace and good government, while others are in a permanent state of conflict, violence, and non-governability. Most of them are situated in countries in the African continent and in the Middle East. Only 10 countries in the world are free of conflicts of all types. On the other hand, corruption simultaneously harms democracy and the rule of law. It leads to human rights violations and has an impact on women and children in a very accentuated way. It's necessary to promote societies based on transparency and good government with transparent and responsible public institutions, ensuring respect for human rights and ensuring an access to justice equality for all, reducing corruption and bribery. Woodrow Wilson was a president of the United States that achieved it. He encouraged the creation of the League of Nations and the promotion of peace after the First World War through the Treaty of Versailles. This means that he used his political power for the common good. The 14 points that he elaborated looked for long-term peace and the support of the displaced and poor people that the war had left. He has been one of the few presidents of a country to receive the Nobel Peace Prize. But how can we use our own power for the common good? 1. There are neighborhood programs to improve the coexistence between boys and girls of different nationalities. This way, they learn how to maintain order in their neighborhood and play sports. Everything is positive. 2. Evaluate your relationships. Look for justice and eliminate authoritarianism. Do you believe you can change something? 3. Break boundaries with that person that asks for food in the supermarket. He or she is exactly like you. Human warmth and diversity promotes peaceful societies. 4. Accentuate your attention and get used to mediating in conflict situations between colleagues or at home. 5. Collaborate as a volunteer in the counseling and legal defense of people with minimum resources. Help them know their rights and know where they have to go to claim them. Knowledge is power. Acting is being successful.
GreenBiz TV টেকসই উন্নয়নে সবার পাশে সব সময়।
GreenBiz TV talks about sustainable development.
Strengthen the means of implementation and revitalize the global partnership for sustainable development. Union doesn't only create strength, it also avoids the weakness and the defeat that individualism causes. Carrying out alliances and collaborations between the different actors of the planet is fundamental to achieving the rest of the SDGs. These alliances are constructed on the basis of principles and values, a shared vision and common aim that give priority to people and the planet, and that are necessary on a global, regional, and local scale. As well, it's necessary to encourage a more equal universal trade system. Every time there are more and more humanitarian crises that demand more levels of resources and financing help. Only through these alliances between actors and the reorientation of the most unfavorable areas can the objectives and sustainable development goals in the new global agenda be achieved. To achieve the sustainable development goals, we should all unite. Governments, civil society, scientists, the academic world, and the private sector. Today, we are closer to achieving it than yesterday. This campaign is an example of strength of the alliances. It was born as a local project, and there are already 40 companies in 18 countries involving close to 500,000 people and more than 18,000 volunteers. Through your participation in this initiative, you can be an example for many to follow. You can be the person that changed things, that was remembered for a long time. You can invest part of your money and your time that you hadn't even thought about what to do with in an activity where someone will always thank you. Foreign aid, cooperation, and union is the biggest wave of human warmth in the world. What can we all do? 1. Follow the local news and keep yourself up to date on the Sustainable Development Goals. They are real and we are going to achieve them. You can be part of them in an active way through social media, inspiring your contacts. 2. Make use of our right to choose our country and community leaders. Let's be conscious of who they are and what they are going to fulfill. 3. Share our concerns with friends and family and unite to create a common action. For example, make calendars with the images of trips and assign the profits of sales for the needed people of that country. Together, everything is easier. 4. Make and encourage volunteering as a value and participation tool. Choose your cause, and, like Gandhi said, be the change that you want to achieve. 5. Promote SDGs through available and free materials and volunteering programs.